So we appreciate everyone being here for the program. Um, so we're going to start off with the invitation of bringing first 2020. Ready?
Lord, we thank you for the spirit of brotherhood, united in service and fellowship. We give thanks for the blessings of this past year and the opportunities for the service presented to us then. As we begin this brotherhood year, we pray for guidance. We ask for wisdom to discern what our service is needed most. We pray for strength to carry out responsibilities with compassion and dedication. Regardless of our individual backgrounds or beliefs, may our actions reflect the true spirit of brotherhood. Help us as we continue to work together to promote peace, understanding, and goodwill. May our service bring positive changes in our community and throughout the world. We pray this, trusting in the Lord.
Yes, we wrote. Tiffany Davis. Back there, you get Molly Holcomb. And Emily Coe, together with Shirley. We're with Shirley to take the program back. Thank you. Welcome guests and welcome back to the so I have a question for the day. So Washington Turkey. It was the chicken say off. So, and Simmons, Marvin, and Brandon Ely, has birthday on August 1st. Club members and, Phil Hayden, 9 years, and then 27. Cooley, 7 years on August 1st. And Carol Lennon, 2 years on August 2nd. So, that. Have, no one member who's important to be. I hope I'm correct on that. So, but I like this one, we've heard from us before, me and others. About the mayor's summer meeting plan. We'll round up mayor summer meeting. This is Friday. Company, special event at the back on the square. And we need your help. So wait, Friday starting at 5:45 to 7 p.m. And and where? Down in the Green Square. What you hear? Working on that. Mayor Anderson will be leading the party. We just like to keep like at our pet, we'll be helping. Below. It's a fall time, big impact. Great way to show how great it is. Come be part of the fun and spend the evening and help us make this fun. Hope to see many of you there. And you have a little bit of I'm so happy
start by putting a dollar. I'm very happy to know that for McKay, and how this year the Fruit County schools, high school and middle school participated. Got incredible response from everyone. Athletic director for the county is it's going to be a training. Anything that is sanctioned by the city of supposed to training for companies. And we've already on the high school side gotten 5 commitments from all 5 high schools. And we've got a commitment from 4 middle. And the thing continues to grow. And said, well, the guys from the first time. But so I just want to that absolutely that and then just behind and then but I think you think and we have a positive level. And so we're thinking 10 runners per team and minimum donation will be $150 per team. The team will, there'll be a traveling between the high schools and the youth. And we're probably doing a plaque rather than sculpture. We'll have a plaque and be rating on the tag. So I told about 16 sponsors, and I think we have 5 things. Minimum, this is our big stuff. We need your help. Now, my contribution to this, so I can keep it on the happy dog thing, keep it in on patient. We have 52 days left for everything. It's considered the president has 52 days. Seven years left to the breakthrough. And then I'm previously at the moment. And so the more easy that's going to be the strategy of what they're committed. I'm going to get this commitment the day before, make you pay the $50. So that's what I would do. And you know, see, 50, 40 people. So I just want to say, work is 7 times 50. Whatever like and to assist you with the applicants, and those you get that something, you put up the you get guys that we put up the storefronts, and every person or everybody he has to be final and start. That's something you want first. There's a QR code that you get all of the. If you have a business, then you come up with next to it, you would put the card at the business. Then part of it is the one of the theater. So grab it, please. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And, Lynn said a great job, as have the other members of our team. We look forward to your support. $25,000. If anybody wants to write that check, I'm so we really need to do our main fundraiser for this club. Okay. Ready for our program forward to that. Maybe you are first speaker.
Good afternoon. Today. I told him that I read bio, so he can wonder what I'm about to say. What I'm trying to do, introduce myself. It's a great opportunity to tell a lot of things. And as I recall stories from time from years going to gym, sand, this reach, big island fall. I was like, you know, itself. I'm gonna read the Bible. You know, Rick over the Georgia Beach Association, and that will be safe, better, as well as policy and research program for the upper young city and body. The representative all served mayor range, previously served on the city council. He graduated with great first going practice law for years. Admitted to the bar of Georgia and Alabama. This is legal. He has served as chairman of the range of Congress as a fundraising United Way at West Florida. He has worked with me, including membership in the Rotary Club, Thornton, the Y Farm, Leadership of Georgia, class 2008. They're at members of the First United Methodist Church of Grange, slid their time when we were in Grange. And I want to introduce my good friend, and I looked at him one thing. Anything kind of training is not good.
Well, thank you, Mayor. It is great to be back with you here at the Grange Rotary. I have such fond memories of being a member of this club for many years, and even on an annual basis, coming and talking to you about the things that were going on in the Grange. Certainly have fond memories. I'm going to put $5 in the low and happy dollars today because I'm very happy that it was so Rotary thing that I found in the box out there. Purge my memory from Rotary has held on to that. Thank y'all very much. Related. One is questioning from time to time from people in the Grange. What are you? What is your role? They won't lose by bull. I want to talk about Georgia City because that's basically what I do. I represent one city and I speak on their behalf. Different context. A little bit about what's across the state so that you can kind of put it in that thing that happened in the Grange a little bit when you have more of that statewide perspective. And then I want to and when CNA's before the plan across the state. Some of you are more familiar with CNA than others. Pittman and Child have been and actually some of the others you might have at some point attended. GMA, Josh, has been in some of our events. So what I wanted was to share a little bit about what's going on in all of those areas. Jim alluded that we have 37 cities. If anybody ever hears me speak, they're going to hear me talk about 37 cities. There was in the Georgia General Assembly, and they said, "What do you know about this team on a regular basis?" All reciting number 537. It actually fits here, but that city here first through the city from the Grange to Bend, Young Harris to Valdosta, and principle of this convention is there is not a one size fits all solution for all 537 things. What works may not be Blackford or Atlanta or Valdosta or Young Paris. Right? You have to think about it in the context of that local community. So that is my theory of local today. But let's be honest, home is LaGrange. You know, LaGrange is always first one equals me. This is what I think of. And I will tell you that it is very frustrating for me to brag on LaGrange and to tell them, well, you know that one thing LaGrange is, because LaGrange is a shining star among those 537 city halls. I've learned that, I thought that, expected one of the things, but having traveled around, having encountered other of the shooting, really hasn't been wrong by the great work Mayor Aaron, council members like Pittman and Child are doing here at this community. So here's a quick test, right? All. So if you think about those 537 cities on a hypothetical basis, and you listen to that, Hattiesville comes first on that list. What lacks on that list? Alphabet. On a population base, and population. Did anybody have any idea what our smallest city is in Georgia? You know, Did never heard of it. Did anybody know what the population is? Really? It's still between two people. When you're thinking about diversity, compare like it or not, then it doesn't change. What's 1733, James Oglethorpe comes over and establishes the colony, the first city of Georgia in Savannah. Does anybody know what the most recent city in Georgia is? The youngest? Y'all know that Mulberry. And anybody heard of Mulberry? Mulberry is incorporated last year in 2024. The new city in Georgia. It is number 5 on that list. When it kind of close to the Cula area, when it counts, Mulberry is bigger than LaGrange. Mulberry's the population of 40,000 people live in the city of Mulberry, and in less than 1 year. So GMA was founded in 1933 to represent all the students of Georgia. But it absolutely joined before GMA. Today, we represent all 537 are members. That time only 6 got that. LaGrange wasn't founded, and LaGrange has been GMA from the beginning. Mayor Horace O'Neill was president of GMA in 1945. Dr. O'Neill, pediatrician here in town. But Frank Tickner, insurance agent, he was president of GMA in 1956. And of course, I got involved a few years ago while I was mayor of LaGrange. But LaGrange has always been very active in the community, other than GMA. Today, anybody asks me, where do I work? I would say, well, I still a lot. Realize that's a very big state. But we do have a new corner. Driving downtown, some of the mayors been there, Leon's been there. But we represent all 537 cities. We're governed by board, and we have 114 full-time employees. What I do is advocate on behalf of Georgia City, both at the state and federal level. That's my reason. We obviously do a lot of that work under the Gold Dome at the state capitol. That's our bread and butter, because every city in Georgia, all 507, were created by an of the General Assembly. They were created not by the Constitution. Counties are created constitutionally. Cities are created by a local act of the General Assembly. We obviously are very closely connected to the state capitol. We don't in Washington because every city gets some amount of funding from time to time from the federal government. Just real high level, I want to talk about why cities matter to Georgia and why they matter. And what I'm gonna do is real quick. On a percentage basis, what percent? Land wise, what percentage of the land mass of Georgia do you think is inside city limits of those cities? What percentage of the total land area is incorporated inside the city as opposed to unincorporated? Any guesses? Someone said 10%, that's probably about as close, it's not. So only 9% of the total land area of Georgia is located inside of the city. But how many, as a percentage, how much of our state's population lives inside cities? It's not quite 45, it's throw the number. But 45% of the population lives in the city. Houses, and this is single family, multiple. Housing units located inside, so unit 45%, right? It's actually 48%. So obviously the housing is a little bit more dense inside the city. 48% of our housing units is in the city. What percentage of jobs are located inside of the city? It's 70%. 70% of the jobs are inside of the city. So if I say from the standpoint of population, cities should matter to you because we're punching above our weight class in terms of how much of an impact we're having on the supply. 47% of the assessed value of all property is in that 9% of land use. 47% of all the assessed value. 91% of the state's GDP can be accounted for inside of cities. The density population, not both cities, this is an aggregate number, is 12, 24%. Tell you, very great, you can figure number with that. You can drive into the job, driving home. So that's a statewide basis. Most cities on sales tax and property tax. Most cities, 26% of the sales, their revenue sales tax, 25 property tax. Y'all are lucky. For 20 years, the range is not relied on property tax, but that other category, utility revenue and other sources of funding. I'm going to get the need and an overarching trend that we're seeing across the state is a desired shift to more self to support needs and bids. That's an overarching trend is across the state. You might the last 25 years, 90% of statewide SWAT referendum. So clearly, SWAT is something that most things are strong about. 150 counties have now put in place a one-time transportation sales tax. But that is a trend because of the need for road and transportation funding across. So this is something that GMA does on a quarterly basis. On a quarterly, we survey what is the across the state. And I want to put this in perspective for you. We just completed survey today that's statewide, and this is not county or the state. This is just cities. How much funding are you looking to over the next 4 years to fund capital projects? The number is $33 billion for those 537 cities. And let me put this in perspective for LaGrange. If you do that 33 billion on a per population basis, if you divide that on a population basis, LaGrange's share of that is $120 million over the next 4 years for water, sewer, public transportation, utilities, et cetera. It is a lot to do to build a water line in the place. You compare apples to apples, but that's a lot of money. Where does it go? 31% is for water and sewer needs. With $10 billion statewide, 29% for transportation needs. So those are the two biggest items that it goes on down. Was the signed $27 million bond. I bought $27 million from y'all back. You wanted me for that. I thought that the council vote. That only fraction, only fraction of it, right? And there's so much more need statewide. On that is a lot of what I spend my time talking. We go statewide and we interview our city councils and mayors across the state and ask them what are their number one needs. Well, whether I'm regional or whether I'm in rural or whether I'm infrastructure. Their infrastructure is in need of repair and expansion. That's what's going to attract businesses and investment in residents and community. It's great, and we're trying to work with our state and federal partners to figure out how we address them. I will show this map just to show it's really across the state water and food. Don't think water and sewer is unique issue to LaGrange. In every region of the state, except Metro and Valdosta, every region across the state, they told us that water and sewer was by far their number one need. Land transport issue, transportation, you can kind of understand that. So the state legislators, the numbers we learn, have a great team of lobbyists that we go down every day when they're in session, and then we work with them when they're out of session, telling the story, trying to find solutions to these issues on a long-term sustainable basis. That I work with, council members, city managers, city attorneys, that sort of what are one of them he is Jeff Todd, city attorney. So we bring them what and representative was there. Will give me that. Just trying to make my point. I tend to do that with my hands. But we spend a lot of time that testimony leads to passage of bill that actual makes it to the governor's desk. That's the this particular instance, I was presenting a bill on annexation to the Senate committee. So we were changing the annexation process. And property, we got a great sponsor and Chairman Victor Anderson, Anderson County. You understand the process well, but both sides, we're closely got that governor's desk and decided about that was a big access. I hope we work on the federal level, because a lot of these issues are nationwide, here on the local state level. So obviously your numbers definitely circle back to a question, and also the representatives and senators and VPs. That's reality. Let me pivot and talk a little bit about some other things that make those and put that in the context of LaGrange, which you might just find interesting. We help our with purchase and financing. We help with collections, cybersecurity, training, and provide retirement and insurance services for every city, all of our member cities. LaGrange, for example, several of these programs. LaGrange programs. For Bobby Traylor, every once in a while something fun worn out. You have to offload, right? That is not free. Have a program with Home Depot where cities are able to get a discounted rate of certain purchasing. We also help the city of LaGrange select delete with business life insurance license, business license program works on that. Currently, LaGrange is Mayor currently brings in $3.88 billion, but that is leases taking advantage of police, fire insurance, other types of equipment, computer equipment, servers that are big capital purchases, and then get a better deal by which city hall get a better. And that was used to finance the 911 upgrades 10 years ago, and then and so when this LaGrange was built, that was done through a brick support financing program that helps the against through. So those are all ways that GMA helps the city. In addition, a GMA advanced fund. Of those 500 loans that one participating in our retirement program, LaGrange is one of those. We have a total of 40 employees. That's GMA is currently managing $3.3 billion of assets for those 301 cities across the state. You might, but LaGrange, the beginning, still has a very, very good program for employment, and currently GMA is holding over $1 million in that retirement fund for beneficiaries. They're currently 34 from LaGrange, receiving monthly retirement check that total over $330,000 a month that system is sending back to those retired employees. We also do training. Leon, Councilmember John, have been very active in our training and lots of training events. Councilman Gaston has also been very active in that over the years, and Mayor Aaron. The Herald of Culture is something which GMA does. We try to help bring city officials together to improve to learn from each other as well as to learn best practices on stage. And to put the training board up there to show you that 17 members of our board, 15 of the mayors and council members, within very well. The DPA representative on the training. So I get to work with her a little bit professionally in this role because of the partnership as well as the Department of Community Affairs. I mentioned Councilman Gaston. He has achieved the highest GMA awards to the city station. In their our inaugural mayor speech, they were both recognized at Summit in Atlanta. We also be here throughout the year. So they had mentioned that most of the members of the LaGrange Council attended recently. We had 51 training classes, 240 trainings built, and our very next event, the Herald and Holt Leadership Academy, is going to be Great Wolf has become a very attractive place for statewide organizations like GMA, like to host events. It's very convenient, easy to access, location, and of course that thing possible about us with the constant located out there. Shout out to LaGrange, a mixture of what GMA does, and shout out to LaGrange, but LaGrange has been designated as certified as well as the certified facility. Very proud. Let me end by talking about how GMA not only does advocacy, we provide services, we provide training, but we also provide solutions that are statewide significance. And so we do this through our but through short before we administer the Young Game Changers program, which brings 45 young adults together, 15 from the community, 15 from Metro Atlanta, and 15 from the rest of the state. They come together and they try to connect the community and help them figure out with a fresh set of eyes how they can solve local problems. The range actually this brings their team actually with the go to the Athens. So this is a program that goes statewide to do that work. We obviously the youth place in 2015. We administer that program, bring together they actually they're a great goal where they brought Dublin and Young Harris all over the state and we arranged for that. And then finally, the Mayor's Reading Club, which let me tell you. Y'all seen your magazine that came out from GMA that goes out to all the city officials. Mayor Eric feature, picture, along with the write-up and several others, because he really has become a superstar, of this mayor's meeting coalition. And I know Rotary and the Housing Authority, District and others have helped with that. But this is taking place across the state, right? This is taking place in other communities. Just last weekend, Mayor Carlos Dutton in Jackson hosted a meeting of Federal Avenue, and he brought Monroe and Montello to Jackson to have a big reading event there in Jackson. Because mayors are collaborating all communities. The mayor of Sandersville, the mayor have been hosting events. So we have 537 cities. We are up to 126 mayors who are active participating in the Mayor's Reading Club, and that list is growing. Appreciate the support that the bring they share. So that's my quick update about Georgia City, about what I'm doing. I'm thoroughly enjoying being mayor and council. I doesn't speak all of y'all, but I really enjoy getting to learn the state and figure out, people problems are all the same. And but everyone's and everyone's trying to come together and find ways to build and improve their local community. And we get to learn from each other and support each other in problems. This is preaching to the choir with Rotary, y'all have been providing that service for 100 here. This is the Rotary clubs across the country. So, I'll stop. I've gotten better being never question. Always I've got one for today. So I'm so each one position, each one of them has 12 position, and then like manager, the pension. And so they're all they together, they all very cooperative. It's the best thing to do. People sometimes actually have lots of things. Well, you can volunteer, political correctness, because all issues that affect the ability to do business add to. Because back when is each individual labor council that has to be part of whether or not it's, whether or not it's liberal, conservative, or whatever that local board that's for them.
Just Georgia ranks ease and attractiveness and then council in Georgia.
So obviously, we're going one thing. We are obviously a place for business, for residents, for a lot of people. Now, maybe not on things 180, but generally year round, it's that place. That area in is very so LaGrange benefits from the interstate, and there's no ways around that. When I look at that, communities that are located on interstate highways are doing well. Communities that were bypassed by the interstate system, like communities, I'm not going to name them, but you know who they are. They're trying. I mean, they business, they are growing, etc. So that's a huge benefit. It's not, it's in Georgia. The Braves are doing well, they're doing well. Other things that are doing well. But there are lots of things that are struggling. That's a big issue. A lot of to the legislature about something that is be replicated on more of a state like they just, it's just already getting moved in some years when they're looking at shit, they're places county that have a I think not stop. They don't afford it. So it does. But we. Like they are. Is no. Small. What the main issue? So when we went around back in April, we went to Gainesville, for one of our listening sessions, I think our today, and we did Temple, September 4th, by the way, that's our name, but when we went around, also our districts, the number one issue bar none was infrastructure and the need for additional infrastructure. The second related issue to that was housing. And then probably the third issue that we're hearing is about data centers, because there's a lot of concern about the effect of how they're going to be. Those are probably the top three that we heard from pretty much across the state.
Thank you. Your question is, your very best we here. Thank you. And second, I've already. We get this. Easy. Easy. Somewhere here. I think, maybe one last one.
We have a high interest rate being in Georgia.
I don't know if I don't. I'm not sure I did.
It came up in the context of feeding.
Yeah.
I think we do have a excessively high, we have 185 and 85.
You know, that never tried to get somewhere on the state, probably can't complain, especially about where, where like 85 and 185 merge, traffic gets high, going north, and of course, it's obviously much worse in Atlanta. But let's be honest, those interstates are the real commerce of 2025. Without them, it's problematic. That doesn't mean. People say, okay, well, it's easy. That's going to cause traffic problems. That's going to cause crowding. You go on the list of issues. Find a city that was growing, that wanted to trade places with a city that was dying. I've yet to find, both create problems, both create issues. But when a city is growing, you have the resources to solve those other problems down there. When a city is drying up on the vine, it becomes, because I have this conversation with mayors across the state, it becomes almost impossible to find the resources you need, whether it's public safety, roads, or whatever, because you just money doesn't grow trees and go to find those. You don't have that problem in this area. So, thank you all very much.
Thanks very much. It was very important. in honor of your speaking today, all of us, which is greater than the individual in our community. Why? Next program, next week, gonna be me. So I hope all of you, will be here to listen to what I have to say. The following, you know, I will be here. That's very involved here. Guy in charge of Target, so, that's probably on 20 biblical history and and we're looking forward to that. One final note, some of you have asked, some of us, Jeff Frank. Jeff Frank, long time Ontario, and had enough to go. Well, that's probably much more. So this came, some very much back in the line in prayer, so, he's been last week, really, part of the type here, some real problems. And this report came from Greg, I think it's on Monday. I'm going to quote some of it. DCU team was finally able to get that off the life support machine yesterday after we breathing for less on the hill. That's great. Not responding to them with one, but that said, they are going to continue to monitor the work. Made a huge step in the right direction. And now we're one step day at a time. Hoping that you can move out of and soon we'll keep going. So keep getting thoughts and prayers, please. We need them. With that, let's join together and forward.
Oh.